and welcome to Chapter 6, Section 1. This is a very brief introduction on percents. This is really just designed to explain to you what percents are. The definition of a percent is a ratio of a number to 100, and we use the percent sign to indicate that percent. Now, when they introduce this to you, what they do is they give you always this block of 100 squares, and they want you to see how many of them. So they'll fill in a bunch like this, and they'll say, okay, what's that percentage? You have to count 10, 20, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 27. So that's 27%. Or if they fill in this many, $30 plus 3, 6, 3, 9, 42, 45, 48, 52. So that's 52%. And it's to show you that it's how many over 100. Percents are always over 100. Parts of 100. So it's comparing whatever you've got out of how many you've got to how many of that over 100. You can take fractions and make them percents. You can take decimals and make them percents. And it's relatively easy to go back and forth between the three. This section I'm going to show you how to go from percents to fractions and percents to decimals, and the next section is going to be the other way around. So if you have a percent, let's say you've got a 35%, your percent is out of 100. So you're going to take that number, whatever percent it says, and you're going to put it over 100. So 35% would be 35 over 100. So now you've got 35 over 100 as a fraction, and the next thing you need to do, of course, is reduce it. And we're going to divide the top and the bottom by 5, and we're going to get 7 over 20. So that's our fraction. If you had 15%, we would put 15 over 100. And then we would again divide by 5, and we would get 3 over 20. If I had 2%, I would put 2 over 100, and I divide the top and the bottom by 2, and I would get 1 over 50. If you had a 3 or a 4-digit number, let's say you had 145%, that number, 145, would go over 100. Now, you've already got 1 in there. 100 goes into 145 one time with 45 hundreds left over. Divide by 5, and you would end up with 1 9/20. So, relatively easy to go from percents to fractions. Percents to decimals is actually easier. All you're doing is moving a decimal. When you have a percent, if there's no decimal already in it, you're going to assume, just like usual, that that decimal goes right at the end of the number. And a percent out of 100, because there's 2 zeros in 100, that means you're going to move that decimal 2 times. We're going to move this decimal 2 times, and so this becomes 43 hundredths. This decimal is already here, so we're going to also move this 2 times, but we're going to start with where it is already. So this number becomes 3,075 ten-thousandths, 0.3075. Then, if you only have 1 digit, again, you're going to assume when there's no decimal that it's right at the end. You're still going to move it over 2 times. Got to move it twice. 1, 2. And I need a placeholder here. So this number becomes 0.07, 7 hundredths. So again, changing percents to fractions and 2 decimals, relatively easy, just takes a little practice. So I will see you tomorrow, and we will work on these together, okay? Thanks.